What are some common misconceptions about witches that you'd like to clear up?
I think that we're all Satan worshipers is a major one. I mean, we're not.
You're just kind of lonely.
Just a little lonely. I think that a lot of witches are love and light. You know, think about like Reiki, yoga. Think about, like healing. That is a lot of witches. The witches I worked with, that was them. I know Christian witches. I know people who worship Jesus. They worship God, and then they do spells as their prayers. So they're like essentially doing the same thing, but they're offering it up to Jesus, and they're like, okay, this is how I want to be heard. That's their prayer. It just depends on the witch. There are satanic witches. There are Luciferian witches, but that's not what it is.
Are those Luciferian witches, in your estimation, a threat to society?
No.
Should we burn them anyway just to be safe?
Definitely not. I have been threatened to be burned so many times.
Wasn't the thing with witches like we're gonna burn them, and if they're a real witch, they'll set themselves free, and we'll prove they're a witch. Well, that's the thing. But if not, if they burn, sorry, we were wrong about.
I was going to correct you earlier when you said we used to burn witches. I was like, well, we burnt humans.
Yeah, that we thought the accused witches.
Because it turned out they weren't witches.
Yeah, because witches, they'd be able to free themselves, right?
Yeah.
And no witch freed themselves?
I have a theory that those were just like medieval Karens. Right. Like, all right, here's the deal. Oh my God, she just doesn't stop. All right.
Well, you know what happened with
throw her in the bottom of the well. If she gets out, she's not a witch. 3 days later, hey, whatever happened to?
We were wrong about her. Whoopsie.
Guess she wasn't a witch. Anyway.
Well, do you know what the history with the Salem witches?
It was one girl, and then.
But do you know what caused it?
I honestly only know from the Arthur Miller book. I don't know the actual.
It was
history.
moldy bread.
Really?
Yeah, they had like moldy bread, and it was making them like act weird. I think it was almost like giving them like kind of psychedelic-y type things, and they were like acting crazy.
Interesting.
And you could look it up. It was some sort of frost that like messed up the wheat or something that year, and the bread like caused them to act like super weird. I don't know if it was like a bunch of people in the town or what. You can look this up.
We have two producers. Any one of you guys wants to chime in?
Yeah, go ahead and throw that up. We got a new producer here. We got three producers. What up, Christian? What up, Christian? How we doing, dog?
What's up, guys?
You know what it is?
Welcome to Slick and Thick.
They're vexed by you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You put spells on our producers or what?
I mean,
that particular mold is called rye ergot, and it makes people act like they are being bewitched or possessed.
wow.
Nice.
And that was the basis of the Salem witch trials, right?
Yeah, that's the current understanding of it. That's been around since 1976. That's what people thought happened there.
Now, interestingly enough, I think along those same lines, the word Mad Hatter, the concept of the Mad Hatter comes from the people when top hats were very popular. They would use either mercury or lead to like stiffen the brim, if I remember correctly, and that would give them some sort of secreted poison.
Mercury to their they poison, give themselves
and
mercury
they would go
poison.
crazy. Yeah, that could be like some old wives' tale if you guys can verify that. But that kind of reminds me of that type of a situation. Like, imagine how many crazy things throughout history. It was just like, no, it was lead poisoning. You guys used lead in the paint, man. Wasn't really.
That's a big thing in like Victorian England because of the paint that they would use. They would always send people, it's like an old movie thing, like, oh, my wife went to the beach to recover and the air did really well for her there. That's because she didn't live in a house with lead paint in it.
There you go. Yeah, I don't have tuberculosis anymore. I moved to the mountains. Yeah, you got out of the city where it was nothing but fucking smoke everywhere, buddy. You got out of the smog and the mud. I came down to Florida and my life is fucking better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I dig it. I think the big thing here is that if you don't like your life, cast a spell. And if that bitch of a witch won't cast the spell, move to Florida.
Move to Florida.
Just leave.